What's up, guys? It's Sean from Srkcycles.com. Driving a 2012 Kawasaki Ninja 250. Fun little bike. I love this color. It matches my shirt, kind of, my jacket. And I'm going to show you guys and tell you guys why this is a good bike for you to buy, and why this might not be a good bike for you to buy. Alright guys, this is Sean from Srkcycles. Alright, so let's start off today with the words of wisdom. We got Matthew 6:27. And which of you, by being anxious, can add a single hour to his span of life? That's going. Nobody. We have no idea what's going to happen. We have no idea when we're going to die. Being worried and scared and anxious will not add nothing to our life. Whoa! Man, this thing's fast. No, I'm just joking. This bike's not fast. This bike is fun, but it's not fun because it's fast. This is a great entry-level sport bike. It would also be a fun track bike. It's light, it's nimble, it's cheap, it's easy to maintain, tires are cheap. It's a great bike for people to learn how to ride on. And the reason being, it's light, it's nimble, and it's very forgiving. And I'll show you in a second. So if you're riding a big bike, you're riding a leader bike or a 600 Super Sport, they're not very forgiving. If you give it a little too much throttle at just the wrong time, no, I'm gonna hold. At just the wrong time, you're gonna get in trouble. They're very, very twitchy. Like this compared to this is 100 miles an hour. Now a bike like this, see, I'm giving it too much gas. It's not going very fast. You know what I mean? I can compensate. I can be in second gear, right? Watch, I'm in second gear and I can floor it. Look at me. Watch, I'm flooring it, and it takes like a couple seconds before it gets to like the next mile an hour. It's very forgiving. If I did that on my CBR 1000 and I went like floored it, my front end's gonna come up and I'm gonna be riding a wheelie, and before I know it, I'm doing like 80 miles an hour. That's why you need that steady throttle hand when you're riding a bigger, faster, twitchier bike. This bike is very forgiving, and you can ride it with, I can't figure out any better use of the word, you could ride this with a retarded throttle hand. And if you haven't been riding very much, you don't have that hand. You don't have that control. It won't take you very long to get it, but that's the good thing about bikes like this. And they'll cruise at high speeds. They're geared for that. I'm sure this bike will do 110, 115 miles an hour. No problem. Well, I'll show you guys how much faster Caleb's bike is than my bike. Caleb stopped accelerating like minutes ago. And, it's just a miles and miles faster. But that's fine. If you're learning how to ride a bike, it's not about being fast. If you think it's all about being fast, you're gonna drive your bike, you're gonna get killed, you're gonna get your arm cut off. That is life. Learn how to ride on something that you can actually learn the mechanics and learn how to maneuver. Learn how to keep up with your buddies, not because your bike's so powerful, but because you're a better rider than them. Any clown can jump on a bike and twist the throttle. Look at me. Hey, I'm fast, bro. I'm twisting the throttle. Look how fast I am. That's not hard. But to be able to know how to, to downshift and to lean into the corners and brake and trail brake and all that stuff, that's actually what makes you a good rider. No joke. I'm not kidding I'm a fairly quick rider. But one time at New Jersey Motor Speedway track, I'm riding my 600 Super Sport. I don't get passed very often. I'm in the middle category. I'm not in the slow category. I'm in like the intermediate category. And I got passed by 3 guys. 2 guys were on leader bikes, BMW S1000 RRs. I think I was on like an R1. But the 3rd guy was on a KTM 390. And that's when I realized, I'm like, I don't need a faster bike. I need to become a better rider. A KTM 390. Now normally in situations like that, they'll smoke you in the corners, but you pull away on the straights. If he's that much faster in the corners, I still can't catch up with him on the straights, even though my bike is faster. But so it's all about how you ride. A good rider could smoke somebody on a much bigger bike if they know what they're doing. So the coolest thing about these bikes, and it wasn't like this. The Kawasaki Ninja was the same bike from like 1987 to 2007. I'm not kidding. It was, I mean, it's still carbureted. It's probably still the same engine actually, but it was the same looking bike, and it looked ugly. In 2008, they redid the body, and it looks like what it pretty much does right now. It's a cool looking bike. And then I'm not sure later, but later they made a fuel injection. So the cool thing is, you can be riding a cool entry-level bike that looks good. If you want to wheelie it and ride wheelies, you can still do that. You just got to dump the clutch at like 12,000 RPMs in first gear. So you can still do cool stuff like that. Look at that bike. GS bike. But, oh yeah, and you can look cool while you're doing it. Look at me. The average person thinks I'm on some super fast, super scary, super bad sport bike, and they're like, you know, old guys are like shaking their fist. They're like, oh, you crazy old kid, you know what I mean? Because they think I'm on a full-blown sport bike, and then I'm like going to like pillage their village. But I'm not. I'm learning how to ride. I'm getting used to the throttle. I'm getting used to the brakes. All that stuff. So that's a good thing about these bikes. They're also light. This is the exact same bike that we're teaching Lindsay how to ride on. Yo, I'm taking a right. And then I'm gonna smoke you, Caleb. I should have been in a lower gear, but I wasn't. One thing about these bikes is they don't have slipper clutches. I'm pretty sure they don't have slipper clutches. I'm not for sure about that, but I just kind of dumped it in too low of a gear, and I felt that back end kind of, you know, cut loose for a second. It's not a big deal. You just gotta make sure you know what gear you're in. You gotta match the revs a little bit better than what I just did. Super fast. Oh! This is like the Miata of motorcycles. You can go out there, and from red light to red light, you can top out like 3 gears and not even exceed the speed limit of 25 miles an hour, of 35 miles an hour. And who are we kidding? That's fun. That's fun. It's more fun to do that than to bang through like a couple gears in basically idle in a super fast car and keeping the speed limit on the street. Taking a left, don't T-bone me. I've been T-boned before. Yo, okay, I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to keep up with this. Smoke that guy. Smoke that guy. Alright guys, that wraps it up for Srkcycles test drive of a 2012 Kawasaki Ninja 250. I smoked that guy. And remember, it's not what you're riding, but where you're going.